Hey there folks, and welcome to another episode of Pinal Prep Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installation. It is rivalry week all across Pinal County. Think of a school, think of their opponent. They're going to be playing each other. Unfortunately for us, it's just us two during the spring season, and these games fall all pretty much on the same day. So we are limited to what we can do. So we are going to be talking about CG Union baseball. They are going to be at Vista Grande on Thursday. These two teams will meet earlier in the week, but for filming purposes, we're going to be talking about the Thursday game. Unfortunately, this might be the last time these two teams meet up during the regular season. Looking ahead at next season's schedule, the way the conference realignments worked out, these two teams are no longer in the same region, so it's now up to the schools to decide, hey, do we want to continue this next year and just have that one game, which is going to be a freedom game potentially? That is still unknown, up in the air, but looking at Thursday's matchup, David, you've seen Vista Grande. What can you say about the Spartans?
I think the Spartans are in a really solid position here, and the story going into this season was, are they going to be able to get the job done when it comes to the postseason play? They've been able to clinch a play-in spot for the last few years, but they've not been able to capitalize and turn that play-in spot into a playoff spot. And games against teams like Union are going to be the difference maker here. They're going to matter here. So, and I think they're playing today on Tuesday as we're recording this. We're talking about this Thursday game. I think the Tuesday game could have a difference here in what happens on Thursday. They get a chance to feel each other out, these two teams, and see what they need to do better at, what they need to work on, and how they can get that edge and beat the crosstown rival here. When it comes to Vista specifically, I'm a big fan of Aiden Montiel. I think he's done a really solid job for them both at the plate here. He's batting .393. He's also a pretty solid pitcher for them. ERA just above 4, but I think that's going to turn himself around here. He has a really solid fastball that can also work with a really decent off-speed pitch as well. So expect him to try to use that to keep the Cougar batters on their toes a little bit here. I think he's could be a difference maker in this one. They also have some other great contributors like Michael Morrow batting .370 right now. So these guys know how to hit. They know how to hit well, and it's a rivalry game. They're going to be juiced up for it. It's really this rivalry specifically between Casa Grande and Vista Grande has kind of really elevated in the last few years. So it's sad that this might be the last time they really get to face each other as much as they do already. So we're just going to see what happens here and plays out. But I think Montiel's going to be a guy we look at. Morrow's going to be a guy we look at if they're going to be the difference makers and try to beat the Cougars in this 2-game set coming up this week.
So looking at CG Union, David mentioned Vista Grande's pitching. CG Union is kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum here. They have a lot of arms, but they are very, very young. I'm talking freshmen and sophomores. At the start of the season, I talked to Coach John Bettina. He said that they were a bit limited. Aside from being young, they were dealing with a lot of injuries coming into the season. So hopefully, some of those guys are able to come back, give them a little bit of more innings. But looking at CG Union offensively, these guys have been tearing it up. Rogan Hansen, Carlos Reyes, Calais Perales, Cole Rice, Joseph Romero, Mason Hall, all of these guys are batting over 300. Cole Rice is kind of the leader when it comes to CG Union's offense. He is batting .382, 10 hits for extra bases. And just looking at this team, I mentioned them being young, and early on, that was kind of a little concern for Bettina. Just, how quickly can these guys adjust? Can they keep up to the speed that is the varsity level? A lot of these guys coming in as freshmen, going from middle school ball, being 14, 15-year-olds, going up against those 18-year-olds. At the varsity level, it's kind of hard to make that adjustment, but so far they've been doing a really good job. Will this game against Vista be any different? I don't think so. Like David mentioned, their pitching. Vista Grande's pitching is stacked. He mentioned Montiel. I got to highlight Adrian Davis, Max Baca. Max Baca is a freshman, and he is a transfer to Vista, not a freshman, a sophomore, and he's a transfer to Vista Grande from CG Union. So he knows what this CG Union team is capable of. I feel like he's going to bring a little bit of insider information on what these batters can do. So I feel like Vista Grande is going to have a slightly upper hand here, at least in this first game. We'll have to wait and see what adjustments these teams make for the game we are talking about. David, anything else you want to add?
I'm glad you mentioned Baca coming from Union to Vista, because that's a transfer portal that we've seen happen in the past as well. It's a really interesting point here. We've seen people like El Tornagant, who has graduated, go from Union to Vista. So this is going to be an interesting point here, and I think it gives Vista a little bit of the upper hand here. But I think what a big difference maker will be is who can limit the most mistakes. mistakes. We've seen errors crumble some teams here. They have to make sure they are on point, both in the field and limiting those mental errors and those mental mistakes. If they're able to do that, whichever team is able to do that, they're probably going to win this game, and we'll see what happens.
Real quickly, I gotta add, hey, if you're going to the game, this is a 2-for-1 for you guys. Same place, same times as the softball teams are also going to be going at it just across the walkway. So, hey, just stand in the middle and watch both games. Get the best of both worlds. As always, be sure to check out Pinal Central for all of your local sports coverage.